Like, I think that the most that you could possibly hope for if you're the Toronto Blue Jays is to have it come down to a toss-up, right? Like, it was basically a toss-up toward the end for you to be able to grab it and take it. Now, one team grabbed it and took it, and one of the things that stood out the most was the announcement that was made. I'm going to forget his name now, but he makes it as Mookie's turning that double play, that 6-3 unassisted double play, where he says, if you want to beat the champ, you got to knock him out. And that's what really, that to me set the tone, or the theme, a cohesive theme throughout this series. Like, while it was a very formidable opponent, it's like there's something that makes the champ. And I think that showed up in, like, right when you thought they were running out of time, Miguel Rojas at bat, which I hope we cover at length, because I think it's one of the better, one of the better stories, one of the better at-bats of this entire postseason, that has a lot of good stories. A lot of good, compelling stories. Ohtani playing the best game ever, but even in like the World Series Game 7, that saved their season in that moment, and I can't imagine that, like, experiencing a bigger moment in that setting. So overall, feeling like exactly like you, the best one that I've seen probably in my, let's call it, my more advanced era of watching baseball, where I did it professionally versus just watching it like a fan rooting for somebody. This one stands out quite a bit on both sides for both teams. But to see the Dodgers see this through again, and then kind of prove to you why a lot of the processes they have put in place, like how they net you out the long-term result of the World Series. To me, if you're trying to dissect who's good and how did they get here, when you dissect the Dodgers processes, you go into player development, you go into scouting, you go in a few different directions. And I think that they often have an enviable product or process, or either trend setting. They've been deep in analytics and pitch movements and pitch profiles for a long time, as well as I thought that they were pretty early to the kind of like the hitting revolution that I think that's been happening through baseball. It gets categorized or bucketed into an uphill swing sometimes, or a launch angle swing. It gets just put in this weird bucket that I don't think really applies. It's this more advanced and scientific way of looking at the game from a hitting side. And I think the Dodgers had started to implement these things 10, 15 years ago. So I think a lot of what you're seeing now is like the genesis lies in their, let's call it, their interest in always kind of pioneering these different areas and doing things a little bit of a different way, but never a non-analytically driven team either. But it doesn't feel like they're dominated by analytics. It feels like they went through their analytics revolution just to end up on the other side of it thinking like, okay, the human stuff is the missing element. Okay, we got here with our base of information. But then I think they take it a step further with the player experience, how the player actually experiences the major leagues, absorbs information from the club, goes through a swing change with a club, goes through a positional change with a club. Their versatility stuff is really impressive, in my opinion. The Edman moving, the Mookie moving, the Rojas playing where he's playing. Paja's coming in late to defend, but you have Dean there if you really needed it to toward the end of a game. It feels like I don't know, all the way through, they have a very intentional process to win championships, and I think it shows up here. And it's a long-winded way of getting there, but sometimes sounds like I could just praise the Dodgers, but I think it's right to acknowledge who the best, in my opinion, the best front office in baseball is, and the best system of processes in baseball. And they transact at the major league level, so they capitalize and finish it with the major league product, which is important. But across the board, I think baseball is in a good spot, and a lot of it is because of teams like the Dodgers.